GDP number everyone was looking out for is out today. In the fourth quarter of FY21, the economy has grown by 1.6%. So a positive growth for the second quarter in a row. You will remember in Q3 we grew at 0.5%, which was being celebrated all around because it meant the recession had formally ended. Overall, for the year FY21, we've seen a contraction of 7.3%, which is much less than was expected. What the Q4 number is also telling us that the economy was on a good clip of recovery before the second wave has hit. Do remember that this number is not necessarily telling us what is happening in the second wave and is just a precursor to what the situation was pre-second wave. So we have yet to see what impact the second wave will have economically. The 2019-2020 growth was 4%. That number was also put out today. Now, the question is, what happens from now onwards? What is the April-June quarter going to look like? And what are the lessons that we can glean from this first draft of numbers that we've seen today for the last fisc? To speak on this, I'm joined now by Mr. M. Govinda Rao, former member of the PMEAC, and D.K. Joshi, Chief Economist at CRISIL. So, Mr. Joshi, let me begin with your take on the numbers we've seen. Are you taking heart from the fact that the last quarter showed that the economy was onto a decent recovery after wave one? Does it point to that kind of resilience that we will perhaps see once the worst of the second wave is behind us?
Well, I think in a way you are right, but the issue is there is a huge amount of uncertainty on the second wave and then also whether a third wave is going to hit us. So I think it would be difficult to say how exactly it will play out. But if we get vaccinations going by July, August, and I think and have a critical mass by the end of this year, then of course I think things will look much better as they are looking in some of the advanced countries like US and UK, etc. So I think the vaccination is the key. Till the time that happens, I think you'll always have to live in the fear of a wave, impending wave. And what we saw in GDP today was basically, I think, is telling you that the economy was beginning to mend towards the last quarter, and I think that recovery will be cut short by the second wave. I think, which incidentally started peaking in the month of April. And I think I just also want to point out that this is the data in the provisional estimate still doesn't include the informal sector, and I think that probably has been hit harder, and that will show up in the revised estimates which come out next year. By that time, I think we would have already forgotten it, and we would be looking at what kind of recovery we will see in 22-23.
No, absolutely. Mr. Rao, your first comments on the GDP numbers that we've seen and what are the indications from it? For example, can we perhaps look at what is going to be the impact on the rural economy, which was pretty resilient through FY21? Many would say that the rural sector carried through the Indian economy in many ways. Now we have reports that in the second wave, rural areas, rural districts are getting more hit. Are you concerned about that?
Let me begin by saying that this 7.3% contraction that we have seen, that is estimated for 2021, was broadly on the lines of what we had expected in the brickwork ratings. It was something like minus 7.5%. Well, I mean, it's certainly better than what the market expected, because market expected much greater contraction. In that sense, I mean, as Dr. Joshi mentioned, the economy was turning around in the fourth quarter, and things were looking better, particularly in manufacturing and even in construction sectors. The things have looked much better. But the second wave has really put a spanner, as you rightly mentioned. The pandemic has migrated to rural areas as well. Now, the good news, however, is that much of the farm operations in rural areas are not happening right now. In fact, it will happen only when the monsoon starts. In fact, this is a sort of a lean period. All the harvesting was done when this pandemic hit. And hopefully, by the time the monsoon operations start, the things will, the numbers will be reduced. But nevertheless, this would hit the rural economy much more. Nevertheless, all the same, I'm quite a lot of it is because of the people migrating from the sort of urban metropolitan areas to the rural areas. However, looking at the first quarter, I would say that in Q1, for example, you had a contraction of 24.4%. And that was because of the complete lockdown that we had. So wherever we have this lockdown, it's not complete as yet. There is many activities still happening. And I would say that, and then of course this is only, April and May, are gone. And then many of the states are likely to open up, many activities in June. I would say that the contraction, obviously there will be positive growth. My own feeling is that it will be anything between 10 to 12%. Because over the first quarter contraction of 24.4% last year. But if we are able to contain from here on, the recovery will be much better. But as Dr. Joshi said, we don't know about the third wave, and we will live in the fear of COVID all the time. And obviously, vaccination is the key. And it's not going to, significant proportion of the population is not likely to be vaccinated even by the next quarter, end of next quarter. It will only be by December that you would have a substantial proportion of the population vaccinated. So we will have to.
That's actually the claim. That's the claim, that you will have all adults vaccinated by December. We have to figure out how that will actually happen. Does the math add up? Will that many vaccines be in supply? Can the entire, eligible extent of Indians be vaccinated by then at the pace we're going? And that's a different story. But Dr. Joshi, I want to ask you about consumption and whether that's the concern. Like Mr. Rao rightly said, the first time round you had a lockdown which hit manufacturing, hit production. Maybe that's why we saw that minus 24.4% number in Q1 of FY21. This time round, production and manufacturing have not been hit, but people have lost income. So CMI, for example, says 11 to 12 million jobs have been lost since pre-COVID levels. They've gone as far as to say 97% of people have had less income than last year in some proportion or the other. Do you think the consumption hit is the one that we really need to watch out for?
Yeah, absolutely, because I think consumption is about 55% of GDP. So it moves the GDP in a significant manner, and it has contracted in 2021, and what we saw was that the festive demand did give it a boost, but it was not enough to erase the losses of the first two quarters. So we are getting an overall contraction, and even I think the unwinding of savings that took place in the third quarter, I think that also could not give a substantial boost to consumption. And I think right now, because the way the pandemic and the restrictions are playing out, we will see that consumption will be slow to pick up. One, because the incomes have been hit. Second, because I think the restrictions, particularly for contact-based services like your hospitality or tour and tourism, for instance, I think these segments have got a double whammy, and I think consumption in these segments will remain quite depressed because of the fear factor, I think, as we were talking. But overall, I think the worry is that if the fiscal support is not forthcoming, then I think the hit to the incomes, to the balance sheets of the households, and also I think to some of the firms will be larger, and that will actually hit your consumption. And last time I think rural demand was pretty strong. I think this time, as Professor Govindra was also pointing out, the rural demand will be somewhat weaker. I think we need to upgrade the allocations to NREGA, etc., which were reduced, hoping that this year we will be seeing a smooth recovery. Since that is not happening, and I think you need to also upgrade the rural health infrastructure to prepare for further waves. So I think taking all this into account, I would say that private consumption recovery will be very, very gradual, and it will only pick up, I think, once the sufficient threshold of vaccination has been achieved. And if private investment or private consumption remains weak, then I think it also flows into a weaker sentiment for investments, I think. And the firms, some of the firms have money to invest, but they would rather wait and watch. I think given the uncertain scenario and given the hit to consumption, the capacity utilization is low right now. So I think given all these things, I think both consumption and investment will take time to pick up. But I think once we achieve critical threshold of vaccination, then we can expect a sharper recovery in these, which is, I think, not likely to happen before the second half of this year.
Okay, you talked about income support, Mr. Joshi. Would you care to elaborate on that? What kind of income support are you hoping for? Because we saw, I would say, a limited amount of income support after the first wave as well, where there was a very clear economic hit. The economic hit is expected to be less this time round. Are you hoping for the government to go beyond the Manreka and Jan Dhan Yojana limitations for even more income support to boost consumption?
Well, I would say that I think for the rural economy, these allocations will have to be raised. I think there is no doubt about that. But for the urban poor, I think we should remember that services are essentially, contact-based services are essentially predominant in urban areas. I think about 76% of the services originate in urban areas, and the people associated with those services, particularly the lower segments, I think they have suffered quite a lot. And I think so government will have to provide some sort of income support either to the companies so that they retain the staff, or I think directly to the individuals. And I think the urban poor should also be in the radar this time. I think that would be one distinguishing factor for the fiscal policy to play out.
Mr. Rao, your comments on what should be done at this point. We heard from the finance minister in an interview to Times of India today saying that wait for all of the budget schemes to play out before you talk about more stimulus. There's been so much buzz of stimulus over the last few days. Are you expecting any big bang stimulus, or is the hope that we will continue to see cases petering out? The lockdowns are not very harsh and they're limited, they're localized, and the resilience in the economy will rise up again. You won't really need to support that much. Do you think that that's the thinking right now in government?
No, in fact, I take up from where Dr. Joshi mentioned. See, the private consumption is not going to increase this year, and there will be serious constraint on that. The only way that you need to do is that the government will have to increase government consumption plus the transfers. In fact, he did talk about transfers to some extent, but then the transfers are substantially necessary both for rural and much more for urban areas for the informal sector, particularly in social distancing areas where the activities have been low. One of the things that you have to do is, see, just as consumption has been constrained, many people have no avenues to spend, and therefore they are not spending. The higher income groups still have the incomes, and then obviously saving, particularly financial sector saving, must have increased. And if that is the case, I think the government borrowing will have to be increased, and then possibly the fiscal deficit will have to increase much more. They should not confine it to 6.8%. And more important than anything else is that the government should signal it right away signal it saying that, look, we will, we will hold the baby, we will take care of the things, rather than saying that let the budget play out. But, I mean, budget will play out. That's not the issue. Today, when the private consumption is declining, income support to the rural areas as well as to the urban, sort of informal sector is very, very crucial. And the government will have to continue its spending, and then obviously you will have to give a very clear signal today that we are going to spending will be increased. Fiscal deficit we will see, because budget has become obsolete no sooner the second wave has started. This is true of the state budget. This is true of the union budget. I think that it is important that the government really gives a clear signal of increasing expenditure, increasing, particularly in social distancing sectors, in the informal sector, the government should increase, its transfers.
Absolutely. There is a lot to be done right now. We can be hopeful that the second wave will peter out sooner than later. The daily numbers are going in an optimistic direction. But what about the third wave? Will we really see the back of COVID-19 until we have enough people vaccinated? And that's really the big question at this point. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshi and Mr. Rao, for joining us and breaking down what the GDP numbers tell us about the recovery in the economy.
Thank you.
Thank you.